my camera wrong way. And it says that we're live. I think we're live. Whoa. Let me see
live.
here. We're live, man. We're live. Welcome back to another edition of a special edition of the Daniel Gomez Inspire Show live. Woo! Man, I'm pumped up. We got a guest that's going to add some value today. He's going to rock and roll. I tell you, this guy, he spoke at our event can you believe it's already been a year?
Dude, the pictures were showing up in my feed, and I was like, man, that was a year ago. It seems like a lifetime ago.
Yeah, it was a year ago. So, man, this next guest, let me tell you, every time I talk to him, he puts a smile on my face. We just became good friends this past year. And you know, Steve, I know who you are, man. I got so much epic stuff to say about you, bro. But let's just get the show going. Tell the Daniel Gomez Inspire Show and the internet world. We got you going live stream all over the place right here at the StreamYard. Who is Steve Warner, man?
I mean, I'm just a guy. I help people tell their stories. I help people make money. I have a huge heart for people. I love to help people make money because at the end of the day, you have to be able to make money. If your business isn't making money, it's not so much fun. But the whole idea of entrepreneurship, of putting your message out into the world, is to make money and to have fun doing it. That's what I help people do all day long. I help people build their stories. I help people craft their offers. I help people sell things. That's it.
Daniel? That's it.
That's it. I mean, that's a lot, right? I mean, so Daniel called me, I don't know, probably 8 weeks ago, and you were like, man, I'm not having a good day. And what did I do? I helped you have a better day.
You helped me have a better day. You know, it's amazing when you surround yourself with people. We always hear that saying that proximity is everything, but in reality, proximity is everything, man. It really, really is, and we forget that. And when you surround yourself with people like Steve Warner, and it just makes the day better. So let's get rocking and rolling, man. You know, I met you a year ago here at an event, and the question I want to ask you, Steve, is I think so many people, I love virtual events, but they're nothing like live events. I miss live events. That's why since COVID happened, we've actually had 3 live events here in San Antonio, Texas. By the grace of God, our city's open, our state's open. So we're going to be here coming up March 5th and 6th. Besides the event itself, what do most people miss in reference to what's the value of coming to a live event, Steve?
I mean, besides just being there live, getting to shake hands with other people, getting to give other people hugs, getting to actually experience other people, I think they miss the energy. Because here's the thing. If you're in a live event, you are in a room. There is a person up on stage. You mind, body, and spirit engaged. If you're on Zoom, I don't care how good your office is. You're on Facebook sometimes. You're on your phone. You're out of the room. Your kid's knocking on the door. You need to go get coffee. Then you get dragged outside. Before you know it, you are not paying attention. You are just not as engaged. I love events. I love learning. I love listening to people talk. But the difference between a virtual event and a live event is like the difference between black and white and color. If you're watching TV, you're never going to watch in black and white ever if you're given the chance to watch in color. So you should come join us at our event. Daniel's event is awesome. I was there last year. He asked me to come back this year. I'm going to be teaching on story selling, how to tell your story in a way that helps you sell. I'm also going to be helping you build a presentation that sells. It's something that I think everybody is the number one way to get your product or service into the marketplace. If you're trying to do one-on-one sales, or if you're trying to do sales funnels online, nothing works as well as being able to tell your story and sell. That's what my heart is. I'm really good at it. I think Daniel can attest to that. And that's what we're going to be teaching. Daniel's going to be teaching how to get on stages, how to spread your message, everything that goes into being a professional speaker, what your speaker reel should be, what your highlights should be, how you approach managers and event people so that you can actually get on the stages. I'm going to help you build the speech that will sell from stage.
And that was a boom, baby. Woo! So you know what? You said something that was great, and I think we missed the people aspect. You know, I think right now people have been locked up for so long. It's been a whole year, Steve. And to me, it's just the people that you meet at these live events. You know, and I agree with you. These virtual events are good, but we went to go have dinner, and I think that's where we really connected. And you're able to connect at a deeper level. And that's what I love about that. And me, I thought I was pretty good. And as far as becoming this, I'm a paid speaker, right? That's kind of was my forte. But just hanging out with you and really just learning how you think, I realized, man, there's a lot of things that I don't know. And I thought I was pretty well established because by the grace of God, we've had a very successful speaking business. But you showed me a different aspect. What do you think is one of the things that most speakers fail to realize, or what they fail to learn? They're not open-minded to it.
I mean, to your credit, Daniel, like, we got along great. We went out to dinner. There was a big group of us. We got to chat a little bit. You had two choices in your mind. You could have let your ego speak and said, hey, I know everything. This guy's talking about something that I don't agree with, or that's not what I need. Instead, you asked some questions. You were like, tell me more about that, because you opened up your mind to learning something. And I think that, like, in and of itself, is a core component to growth, whether it is a speaking career, whether it's your business, whatever it is in life. It could be your relationship, right? If your relationship is stagnant and dying, it's because you don't come curious. You don't open your mind to new things. You're not listening. You're not communicating. You're not talking, and you're not growing. Growth is the thing that drives everything. Right? Having a growth mindset. And that's not just growing your business, that's growing your mind, always being open to new things. Specifically, though, I think one thing that a lot of speakers miss out on is they want the speaker fee, right? They want to go speak somewhere that they're going to get paid $3,000, $5,000, $10,000 to speak on stage. That is great. That is a wonderful thing. But there is a whole nother side to the business where you can make just as much money, if not more, and that's speaking and selling from stage. You knew very little of that when we first met. The thing is that you can do both. You can go to events where they pay you speakers fees, and then you can go to events where you can speak and sell from stage. And if you have both sides, you're going to more than double your income. There's no reason you shouldn't do both.
Yeah. And you know what? I think just in the conversation that we had, by being a professional speaker, getting paid to speak, we make more in 1 hour than most people make in a month. Mm-hmm. And can you elaborate on that? Like, because I don't think, I think I kind of felt guilty when I first started becoming a paid professional speaker. Think about what I said, ladies and gentlemen. A professional speaker makes more in 1 hour than most people make in a month. Talk to us about that, Steve, if you don't mind.
Yeah, of course. I mean, okay, so why? We get paid in a free market society, which is what we live in. You get paid in the exact proportion of value that you bring to the marketplace. So when you help one person, you can only get paid as much as helping one person can pay you. But when you help 100 people or 200 people or 500 people, you get paid in a multiplier. So let's say that you help one person. Let's say you're a restaurant cook. You're getting paid $15 an hour to help cook food for 1, 2, 3 people, right? A table. Well, what if you instead could cook for a stadium of people? They would have to pay you more money. The market would demand more. The same thing is true with speaking. The reason that you can make as much or more than someone like a line cook would make in a month is because you're helping hundreds of people and you're solving a serious problem. So when Daniel goes and teaches on sales, he's giving the sales team that he's presenting to tools that will help them make more money. The business that is writing him the check to come and speak for that hour thinks that what Daniel has to say is more valuable than that amount of money because it will grow their business by that much. So if they pay Daniel 10 grand to come train their sales team, what they're saying is that $10,000, we're expecting a 3 to 5x multiple of that. He's going to show our sales team how to sell more, which is going to make us more money, which is why we are willing to invest in Daniel. So if you have a message that's burning inside of you that you know can change the world, that can inspire people, whether it's in sales, whether it's in marketing, whether it's helping people feel better about themselves, whether it's helping people lose weight. Daniel, what was the name of the Olympian that was at the last event? I can't remember her name.
Oh, man, she's a dear friend of mine. Esme Lawrence. She was here, actually. I just spoke to her the other day because me and you had mentioned her. And she has so much value. Yes, Esme Lawrence, powerful woman, dear friend. was on her podcast. Love her.
So here's the thing. So she sat next to me and we were talking, and she has a great story about how she grew up with this drive to run, and she became an Olympic athlete, and she was a bronze medalist, silver medalist. Do you remember?
She was I believe she won a bronze medalist she was with the Canadian team. She's from Canada.
Okay. So bronze medalist. We were talking and she said, well, I need to know how to make more money doing the speaker thing. And I said, well, the way that you can do that is by speaking to people who want to be Olympic athletes. Because if you go speak and you inspire people who want the outcome that you have, they're the ones who are willing to pay for it. So in my opinion, and I just gave her this in passing, I don't know that she ever did anything with it or not, but monetize your message. What is right on the screen, she should be talking to sports teams. She should be like schools. Schools have budgets for education and for speakers. She could easily go speak to school sports teams, track teams specifically, get them pumped up, get them share her message, because her message is really powerful. She grew from nothing to be an Olympic athlete. And when I say nothing, she had a pretty rough upbringing. She did not have fancy trainers. She didn't have anything like that. She was running in her bare feet.
You know, it's funny you say that, because I want you to, somebody out there is listening to this live podcast right now, this episode, and you have a story to share. Somebody out there is drowning right now and they need to hear your story. That's what Steve's saying. And I want you to imagine yourself right now that you're sharing your story, and there's 100 people, 200 people out there in the event. And next thing you know, you're impacting people. There's people crying because of your story. And then next thing you know, the event planner gives you your honorarium of $5,000, $7,000, which professional speakers get paid. And the biggest myth, Steve, that really upsets me right now is that we've watched the news and we've listened to the fabricated news that they've given us. And because right now, right now in Florida, right now, one of my mentors and another friend of mine, they're at this amazing event where they're having a live event in Florida, and I think there was over 50 people there live, and it was amazing. But I say that because we've come to the belief of binding and fear, and we need to not listen to that. We need to go out there and live our life. You need to share your story because somebody needs to hear it. So Steve, just to give somebody an idea, maybe they've never heard the terminology. Man, Steve, I've been wanting to get paid to speak. I've been scared, and where do I start? But they don't even concept the word monetize your message. What does monetize your message mean?
Sure. I mean, if you're sitting there and you're listening to this and you're like, how do I even get started with this? Well, I would say come to our event, because at our event, we are going to break it down for you over 3 days. You're going to get to sit down with us. You're going to see exactly how to do this. But I will start with, you just need to figure out what your message is. Everybody says, well, I don't have a message. You have overcome challenges in your life. Look at the successes in your life. Look at the things that you've overcome. Nobody who's a superhero believes that they're a superhero, right? That's what makes us a superhero. A lot of people come up to me and say, you are so great at speaking. You are amazing on stage. To me, it's commonplace because I've been doing it for so long. I'm not saying that with any ego attached. You have the same thing. Daniel naturally inspires people. People had to tell him several times that he needed to be on stage inspiring others before he got it, though. So you start with, what is your message? What challenges have you overcome? What do you feel compelled to share? If you're sitting in your house right now or in your car or wherever you are listening to this, and you feel like you have a burning message inside of you, that's the place where it starts. Start with that message. Bullet point that out. From there, you want to talk to Daniel about how you get in front of event planners, because Daniel will tell you he went through more than 50 rejections before he ever even got started. He can shortcut that process for you. There's a patented way that I wouldn't call it patented. There is a step-by-step way that works that will get you in front of the event planners and get you on stages.
Well, as a matter of fact, yeah, and I'm glad you said that, right? Because I'm thinking of Michelle Hoskins right now. She's an amazing woman. She's just powerful. She came to the July event, and not even after that, Steve, she got booked live speaking gig because corporations are bringing people in, right? Maybe there's not those big conferences where you have 1,000 people, but I'll tell you, AT&T and all these other organizations, they are bringing people in for private trainings. She got a $5,000 paid speaking gig after coming to Sticker Shock, got paid. Then she got a $2,500 virtual event. $2,500 virtual event. And then she got another, I call it a baby one, but it's not a baby for being virtual, $1,000. So she made almost, I mean, she's making it. And another one of our attendees, she made over $3,500 on our virtual event. So people are getting booked to pay to speak. And we need to understand that there's corporations out there. You got AT&T, you got Ghost Gym. I just did a sexual harassment training in Houston where they paid me a nice honorarium. I mean, we doubled our revenue last year. And it's because we've bought into the myth of fear. We've bought into the myth of what the news says, and you got to stop listening to that. You got to take action. I'm going to tell you, Steve, I mean, I've learned a lot from you. I've been, to me, I say that humbly, right? I've been a good keynote speaker, but you talked about monetizing your message. So let's take a little step further. I'm going to put this banner up here right now because you said story, right? Everybody talks about storytelling, but what about the story selling part of that? Talk to us about that if you don't mind.
Well, sure. So, I mean, so many people want to tell stories from stage, right? When you get paid to speak, you have to be entertaining. You have to grab people's attention. Parables work better than anything else to teach your message because it involves the listener. It gets them to lean in. It gets them excited because there's drama, there's resolution, there are things going on. When you just teach, it's really easy for people to fall asleep. So I want you to think about your favorite high school teacher. Like, close your eyes for a second. Picture your favorite high school teacher. You got a picture of them? Now I want you to picture your least favorite teachers, right? Chances are your least favorite teacher, you would walk in and they would be at the board lecturing. They would be writing on the board. They'd be telling you all these different things. They would just be lecturing. Very monotone, very dry. And a lot of it would go over your head. It would also, your brain would start to shut down because it's heavy. It's trying to process stuff. If you were like me, you put your head down, went to sleep, you passed notes, or you just left out the back door, right? But now think about your favorite teacher again. Your favorite teacher probably taught less, but was more engaging. They were more fun to listen to. You got more out of it. They knew your name. They told stories. They were funny. That's what it takes to be a really good keynote speaker. Now, when you're selling using story, you want to create the story and show people that you can solve their problem when they buy from you. You do this in a very specific way by creating open loops and creating the product, right? If you take them on your product journey and show them. So for the Olympic athlete that we were talking about, if I was in her shoes, I would create a mental training program for athletes who want to be Olympians. When she tells her story, all she has to do is say, I've put all these mental tips, tricks, and hacks into a program which you can access at the end of this. It has meditations in it. It has a step-by-step workbook that's going to show you the workouts that you need to do every day to get your legs super strong so that you can run faster, so that you can be on the Olympic podium just like me. Just by working those things into her story, it gets people to lean forward and say, I want those outcomes. And then at the end, she just says, here it is in a nice little package. That is how you do story selling. It creates people leaning in instead of being pushed on. You think about a lot of salespeople, right? Daniel knows all about salespeople. They push on to people by saying, here, buy this. You should totally want this. You need this. When you hear those things, what happens? A wall goes up. But when I tell you a great story, like I did with the teacher story, it gets you to lean in. It gets you to start to experience it, and it makes sales much, much easier. We're going to go really deep into this for about 3 hours at the event. The Sticker Shock event. So if you want to know more about it, talk to Daniel. We'd be happy to have you there.
As a matter of fact, I'm going to put my number in the comments because, this thing's coming up. It's going to be March 5th and 6th here in San Antonio, Texas. It's going to change your life. This guy right here, Steve Warner, he's one of the best that I've seen in storytelling and story selling and really just branding yourself and selling that product from the stage, and people don't realize that. And Steve, I don't mean this in a braggadocious way, but I want people to comprehend what's available to them when they open up their capacity to receive this. And I want you to stop me when I get to the number that you've had, right? So I'm going to go out in thousands, but I want you to stop when you when I say the number that you've seen somebody make at one event, right? So has somebody made more than 10,000?
Yes.
20,000?
Yes.
30,000?
Yes.
40,000?
I mean, who are you thinking of? Like, what kind of person? I mean, I've seen people. I worked at an event for a mentor of mine who did 10 million from stage in 1 hour. That's not going to be normal for people. So I don't want people to think that. I think the average person, though, I mean, I've easily done 6 figures in a weekend. We've done several events. Last year before COVID, I did an event last September. We did 165,000 from a weekend. So it is definitely possible. And you earlier you said, paid speakers can make what most people make in a month, in a day. I would go a little bit further and say that good paid speakers, once they have a year under their belt and they know what they're doing, can make 6 figures in a day without a problem.
And one thing that I think people forget, man, it's not even about that, right? The success, being paid to speak, story selling, it's a big part of it. But for me, I can honestly tell you, it's just the collaborations that we just the friendships that are created when you go to a live event. You meet people like Steve Warner, who understand business, who understand the speaking business, who understand funnels and just how to monetize yourself and how to really build a business and scale it. And many coaches, many trainers out there, speakers, they're stuck because they can't grow their business. And this is an event you need to be at, because we're going to have not just you, right? I mean, I'm grateful to have you. Don't get me wrong, but we're going to have Alex Stern, right? Co-founder of Constant Contact. He's going to be here. We're going to do a room here Monday on Clubhouse, and we're going to kind of just talk about keynoting. But Alex Stern's going to be there. You're going to learn from the co-founder of Constant Contact. He's going to teach you the business part. Because Steve, correct me if I'm wrong, but I would say 90% of speakers, 90% of just coaches and trainers, right? They never succeed because they never develop the business side. They leave the corporate world. They leave the 9-to-5 job, and they get stuck here at the middle, at the entrepreneur stage. And they get stuck. To them, being a coach or being a speaker is being at Starbucks, drinking your latte on your laptop. And they think that's being an entrepreneur, but they never develop that business mindset to succeed. Talk to us about that a little bit.
Sure. I mean, you see it all the time. It's people leave the corporate job, they go out into the world, and they start and they say, well, it's all about me. It's all about what I do. I actually made this mistake 2014 when I got started. I wanted to hold live events. So I went and I tried to hold a live event. I rented space for 1,500 people. I started spending all of my money on any kind of marketing I could. I knew how to run a great event because I had ran events in corporate. What I had never had to worry about was filling them. And this is the lesson. It is always about selling the thing that you do, because you have to get people to pay you for what you do. It is not just enough to be great at what you do. You can be okay at what you do, but if you are wonderful at selling it, you will make way more money than anything else. That's just the way the world works. Whatever you are the best at selling is what is going to equal the most money, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, for sure. But I want people to understand that when you lead with your heart, Steve, and that's what I learned from you, right? Lead with your heart. This is what Steve's saying. So don't get our message wrong, because I can hear somebody texting me, right? Like it's not about the money, but it's about helping people. People out there need help. Somebody has a problem. Somebody has an issue, and your story is going to solve their heart. I just heard it, just as a matter of fact, yesterday on Clubhouse. There was somebody that was just crying, right? Because somebody was speaking, and what that person was saying spoke to their soul, spoke to their heart. And as soon as it was over, they're like, man, thank you so much. I needed to hear that. And it just takes it a step further. So somebody out there is drowning and they need to hear your story. Your story matters. If you're an aspiring speaker and you're scared, you think you say, who's going to listen to Daniel Gomez? Who's going to listen to Steve Warner?
I mean, people will, to your point, money is the result of changing people's lives. We talked to this earlier. Like, your story is what is going to change somebody's life. You have to get out there. You have to market the story. You have to get on stages. Like Daniel, when he started, right? He was trying to figure out how to get on stage. He knew he had this burning desire to share. he had to get rejected 50 times before he learned the business of speaking. So if you feel called to share your message, if you know that you need to put your message out into the world, then you need to focus on getting good at the business side so you get on stage. You have a moral obligation to do that, because if you don't get good at the business side, no one will ever hear you. You can have the best product in the world and it will change 1 or 2 people's lives, but the bigger the stage you can get on, the more people you can affect, the more you can change the world. And then because of that, you will end up making more money. Does that help bring a little bit of clarity to that situation, Daniel? Because I don't want people to think it's all about money either.
Yeah, well, I think that this is the truth is when you solve somebody's problem, our stories do that. Our speaking does that. If why would a corporation pay somebody $5,000, $7,000, $10,000 to come speak on leadership, on team building, on communication, if they didn't need it? They need this stuff. Their employees need it. And believe it or not, they're still having events, hybrid events, live events in these corporations. And you might be that person that you're tired of your job and you're a leadership expert, but you're scared to make that leap. And when I started speaking professionally, I went in with what I knew, which was sales, and then I kind of transferred over to leadership and then team building and communication. But there's so many topics that we're going to help you find. Not only that, I have a question for you, Steve.
Yeah.
How many speakers get paid? How many speakers get hired without a speaker reel?
None. Very, very few. You have to have a speaker reel.
So let me ask you again. Are you going to get hired? I've seen so many speakers' websites that just have a picture of them without even a microphone with no speaker reel. How many did you say will probably get hired off of that?
None.
When you come to the Sticker Shock Speaking Academy, we're going to give you a professional speaker reel. A speaker reel can run anywhere from $1,500 to $2,000. With our gold program, you're pretty much getting it free because it's included for you. You're going to get optics on stage. You're going to get pictures on the red carpet. You're going to get a video testimonial from myself, Michael D. Butler, Steve Warner. We're going to validate you. I mean, we're going to give you all the tools you need, where to find the paid speaking gigs. Let me tell you this. If you're an aspiring speaker, now is the time. America's going to open back up. The world's going to open back up. It's opening up right now. Like I said, they're having live events in Florida right now. We've been having live events in Texas. You need to be here. Call me. My number's at the bottom, 210-663-5954. You're not going to be disappointed. And one of the best things that we got from the last event, Steve, was, as a matter of fact, a guy from San Antonio came to our event and he was excited, right? He got there and he goes, Daniel, I have to tell you, man, I got to apologize. Like, for what, man? He goes, dude, I thought it was going to be just people from San Antonio. I said, what do you mean? He goes, yeah. He goes, I didn't realize there was going to be Joy Brown from California, that you were going to have Derek Hill from Kentucky. You were going to have people from all over the country here. He goes, dude, this is what he told me. He goes, I met people everywhere. I met people in Colorado. So now when I go speak over there, I go and do a show over there. I already have a family in Colorado. And you become part of these different communities that wherever you go travel, you're there. And I understand that, because when I went to an event, I met a great friend of mine, Joseph Warren. And when I went to Florida, it's like I felt comfortable because I already knew somebody there. So it's so amazing when you come to these events, just the relationships that are formed. Mm-hmm. And it's just a benefit. It's just kind of like that gravy on top of the chicken fried steak. It's just a bonus. It's like, boom, baby. Nice. And me and you, man, look at me and you. I mean, I'm gonna be real right now, right? I'm gonna be totally honest. I don't care. I'm always honest. I had a couple of, everybody knows, I didn't hide it on Facebook or social media. I almost broke my foot. And I had some dark days. And I'll tell you that if it wasn't for Steve Warner being there for me, not just once, not just twice, maybe even 3 times. I think he even had to change his shirt one time because he carried me through that. But these are the friendships that are made, that are bonded. When you really get to come in, break bread with somebody, you actually, there's a huge difference when you spend time with somebody live for 2 or 3 days as to just seeing them on a virtual event. And if it wasn't for this guy right here, man, that human touch, I would tell you, I don't know how I would have made it through one of those 2 days, because we take so many things for granted, and walking is one of them. And when I couldn't walk, it humbled me. And you know that, Steve, because there was some days you're like, dude, like it's gonna be okay. I'm like, are you sure?
I mean, I'm glad that I was able to help you, and I was glad I was able to support you. I just knew you were going through a lot of pain, and you were really frustrated. But it happens to the best of us. I mean, we all have times where we are not at our best, and that's just part of being human. But the other part of being human that so many people shut down, they don't want to be vulnerable, they don't want to open themselves up to other people, whatever. But you did, and I was able to support you. I mean, that's all it is. That's what friends are for, man.
And that's what and we're talking about this, but that's what it takes to to monetize your message. You have to open your heart. And so many of us out there right now, we're hurting so bad, and you're suppressing your emotions. But if you just release that message that God's put in your heart to release out there and share it with the world, because somebody needs to hear your story. Your story makes a difference. And people are saying, well, something that I said is people are going to laugh at you before they applaud you. When you come to the Sticker Shock Speaking Academy, we're going to accept you for who you are at the level you're at. March 5th and 6th. Message me here on Facebook. Message me here on YouTube. We want you to be at our event. We're going to help you, not just to become a speaker, but to build a speaking business. And it's just amazing. And if you need help, call me here at 210-663-5954. We want to help you. We want to make a difference, because right now is the time to be prepared. And nothing's worse than having an opportunity, Steve, and you're not prepared for it. Don't you agree with that?
I do. I definitely do.
So let's switch up a little bit. So what's one of the best experiences you've had just in traveling the country and traveling the world and being a speaker?
Man, there are so many of them. I've met so many amazing people at live events. I mean, that's why. So I wanted to get into live events because I had met so many cool people at events. The people who go to live events are the people who are dedicated to learning, to growing, to putting themselves out there. So when I started going to events that were for entrepreneurs, I started meeting people that were dedicated to that. And that's what really started to change my life. That's where I started to pick up on those things. I started to meet those people. And just like we were just talking about having family all over the place, I know people all over the US and all over the world that are my friends, like really my friends. I talk to them, I text them, we're chatting on Zoom sometimes we're chatting through Facebook Messenger, but they're all people that I met mostly at live events. That's why like I love live events. It's part of why I keep going.
I'll tell you that, man. Well, I'm excited to have you. When you spoke here last March, it was an amazing event we had. There's my email, Daniel@danielgomezspeaker.com. Send me an email if you have a question, and you're thinking, Daniel, I really want to be a speaker. I feel like God's putting that in my heart, but I'm embarrassed. I don't think I can't do it. You know what? I didn't think I could do it. You know how I would practice, Steve? With the brush. Literally, I would get, like, this is a pen, but I would get a brush and I would practice in front of the mirror before I went and bought up the PA. And I did that. I did that for like about 2 or 3 months, but that's what it takes to make you better. So, man, I'm just excited to have you here with us here in San Antonio, March 5th and 6th. And
it's going to be awesome.
Just some parting words. If somebody's they're on the edge about coming and they're seeing the investment, right? It's over a couple of thousand with the speaker reel, right? Very, very affordable, but they've never invested, $1,000, much less $2,000 for a ticket. But do you think it's great value that they're going to get back in return, and why?
Absolutely. Well, I mean, you use the word investment. If you put $1 in and you get $2 out, would you keep putting $1 in? It's the same thing. If you know that you want to be a speaker, you have to take steps to do that. And you could try to figure out everything yourself, but it's going to take you a long time and it's going to take you a lot of pain. And if you're honest with yourself, if you went through 50 rejections, that's what Daniel had to go through. Do you think you can do that? Do you think you'll keep showing up every day? Why not just pay a couple grand in an investment where Daniel's going to show you the shortcut, show you exactly how to do it, so that then you can go out and do it? Because if you put the $2,000 or $3,000 into this event, you're going to end up coming out on the other side with a way to get paid $5,000 for 1 hour. Is that worth $2,000 and a couple days? Absolutely. That's what an investment is. It's money that you spend to always get money back.
And one of the biggest compliments that we got from one of our attendees, and she said this, right? She put it in. She said, Daniel, and it was Michelle. She said she owned a McDonald's, right? And she's very, very knowledgeable. She goes, I learned so much about the business aspect of speaking here with you. She goes, thank you. And she's just skyrocketed since then. And I say that because when you come to and spend time with us, we're going to be in the hall. We're going to go have dinner together. We're going to have lunch together. And it's just a real intimate setting. It's not a big event where we have 50, 60 people, 100, 200 people. No, it's going to be an intimate event with 30 people. We already have 20 speakers lined up. We got slots for 10 more speakers. But it's going to be an intimate event where we're going to spend time with you one-on-one. We're going to have VIP lunches included. And it's just going to be amazing. So we would love to see you there. Call me, email me. I put my number again one more time. Let me put the number here on the bottom. I'm going to put the email, and we're here to serve you. And Steve's an amazing guy. You can't learn from anybody better. I've learned from him tremendously. And Steve, you want to leave us with some party words, my friend?
I mean, I would love to see you at the event. I feel like nothing in the world will change your business or change your life more than learning to speak from stage, to tell your story in a meaningful, impactful way, and to sell. I mean, those are the things that we are doing at Sticker Shock. I'm super excited about it. I know that we change lives with what we do. I know the people who come will have their lives changed. I believe it in my heart. I've seen it happen. I mean, I've spoke on stage for the last 5 years, and I have never had somebody tell me that they did not have an amazing experience and walk away a better person than they were coming in.
And you know what I just thought about right now is if you're a struggling coach, if you're a coach who needs to, you have a program that hasn't, that, your program is worth, your program can solve somebody's problems. You just don't know how to offer it in a nice way, or you haven't been able to get the value that you wanted out of it, how to monetize it. We're going to teach you that there at Sticker Shock Speaking Academy. So we would want to see you there. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. My numbers are at the bottom. We'd love to have it. We have like 10 seats left over. We already have 20 speakers signed up. Very intimate event. Steve's one of the best at story selling, monetizing your story. And I'm going to teach you how to be a paid speaker. We're going to give you optics on stage, paid professional speaker reel, which is worth it by itself, just $1,500 to $2,000. Let's talk. Send me a message here on Facebook, YouTube. We want to help you out. It's been an amazing time, Steve. Hey, I want to thank you, man. You're a dear friend of mine. I appreciate you, brother. You're a blessing in my life, and thank you for being there during a couple of months where I couldn't walk. And man, I owe you a shirt because I think I cried on your shoulder so many times.
It's all good, Daniel. I'm just excited to see you and to come do this event. We are going to have a great time. It's always great to hang out with you. This is super fun. If you're out there listening to this and you're thinking about coming, you should definitely sign up. It's going to be an amazing weekend, and it's going to change your life.
Hey, everybody have a blessed evening. This is Daniel Gomez and Steve Warner coming to you live on the Daniel Gomez Inspire Show Special Edition. Remember, your story matters. They're going to laugh at you before they applaud you. Don't disqualify yourself from being a speaker because somebody needs to hear your story. Have a blessed evening, everybody.